stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman John Cochran.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would just ask if everyone would please remain standing, although the sacks, I'm sorry. It's with a heavy heart I'd like to ask my colleagues on the town board and all joining us today to share in a moment of silence for Mike Jacob, an almost 20-year member of our town of Islip family and one of the MacArthur family. Mike tragically passed away a few days ago following injuries sustained during a work-related accident at the airport. A second airport employee was also injured, taken to the hospital, but fortunately was able to be released without life-threatening injuries. Mike, who was 51 years old, a resident of Holbrook, a volunteer for his community, having served with the Bayport Fire Department. Mike was admired by all who had the good fortune of working with him and working alongside him for many years. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family as they struggle to cope with this loss. Our deepest condolences go out to his wife Leslie and their two children, Adriana and Tristan. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. We began this meeting, as we do with every town board, with the recitation of our nation's Pledge of Allegiance. More than just a ceremony, the Pledge of Allegiance is a recitation of our nation's beliefs and values. Values that came under attack 20 years ago during the unmanageable events of 9/11. This past weekend, the town of Iceland commemorated the 20th anniversary of September 11th on the lawn at our Veterans Memorial Park, joined by representatives from all levels of government, local fire departments, community and civic and spiritual groups, the ambulance companies. We pay tribute to the 90 town of Iceland men and women who sadly lost their lives that day, and the thousands who were lost to the family of humankind. Though years go by, we will continue to honor their memory and continue to cherish the heroic actions of our firefighters, police, EMS, and all first responders. We will never forget. Just a reminder that September is National Recovery Awareness Month. For the third year in a row, the town of Iceland has gone purple, the color that symbolizes recovery, to raise awareness and jumpstart the conversation surrounding substance abuse disorders. As you travel throughout the town, you'll notice signage, ribbons, and flags adorning our streets, trees, and lampposts, and the town of Iceland pole cupola has been lit purple, spreading the vital message of recovery. Visit icelandgoespurple.com for more information on recovery programs and helpful resources. Moving forward into September, tomorrow, September 15th, begins National Hispanic Heritage Month, a 30-day celebration recognizing the contributions and influence of Hispanic Americans to the history, culture, and achievements of our great country. While in past years we've singled out individuals honoring them at our board meeting, due to the ongoing pandemic and the climbing COVID-19 positivity rates, we postponed that ceremony here at Town Hall. So on behalf of all the members of the town board, we invite you to join us in recognizing and congratulating all our friends, neighbors, and residents of Hispanic heritage, whose hard work and dedication leaves a lasting positive impact in our community and serves as a model of inspiration to the residents of our town. Also, due to the rising COVID positivity rates, the Town of Islip Apple Festival, unfortunately originally scheduled for Saturday, September 18th, has been canceled. Although the popular event is held outdoors, anyone who has visited the Apple Fest in the past knows how densely populated and packed the popular attraction becomes. So in an effort to keep residents as safe as possible, we're tasked to make the tough but right decision to cancel the event and not risk contributing the rising COVID numbers. In that regard, if you're not yet vaccinated against COVID-19, now is the time. The approach of cooler weather, the return indoors, and the rise of COVID variants pose a great risk to those who remain yet unvaccinated. We are imploring anyone who is still undecided to have a conversation with your primary care physician to help clear up any concerns. Those wishing to get the vaccine can schedule an appointment at our free drive-through vaccination site in Brentwood by calling 631-376-3224 to make an appointment or get more information. So I thank you, and we will go on with the meeting.
I just have one request, if you don't mind. My microphone is not working, so if we could get somebody
You
just
need
to
to turn
fix
it
my...
on?
I tried that, honey. Yeah, it's not working. So we'll have to share a microphone, if that's
I
okay?
don't know if that's a wise decision. If you want to share a microphone.
I'd like to be heard, so the people of...
I'll read it.
Yeah?
They are.
Thank you. I think it's important that the board members have a voice.
Sure.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now, I was speaking to IT earlier, so I don't know if something has changed, but he said to me not to speak too closely to the microphone, so I appreciate you pulling it closer, but he said even though you can't hear, it is being heard. So,
I was getting-
unless something has changed.
I was getting signals from the back of the room that nobody could hear you, so I pushed the microphone closer so that you could be heard.
Thank you. So let us...
Thank you. Good. Thank you.
Thank you for the reminder. If we could all please silence our cell phones. That was very timely. Thank you. Before we begin the agenda, the town clerk has an announcement regarding the 2022 tentative budget. Madam Clerk?
Madam Supervisor, council people, I'd like to present to you the tentative 2022 budget for the town of Islip. It was filed in my office in accordance with New York State Town Law, Section 106. I'm presenting it to you here at this public meeting, also in accordance with New York State Town Law, Section 106. It's available for review.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
There are no scheduled public hearings this evening, so we will go right to the public portion. Asking anyone who wishes to address the board to please come forward. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. And again, as last month, because of COVID, there is no microphone, but please be aware that the lectern is covered with that Silver Defender disinfecting materials so that it's safe. You can rest your hands there and not worry. But before we go to the public portion, I have 2 updates that might be helpful for the public, because I know there were a number of speakers who were coming to speak on the Island Hills process, and I'd asked the Commissioner of Planning, Ron Meyer, if he would please give us an update on where we are and exactly what our action at the last town board meeting in accepting and starting the process really represents. Ron, if you would.
I will try to speak loudly. I took the mask off so I don't sound like the teacher in the Charlie Brown comic strip. So hopefully everyone can hear me projecting forward. Can you hear me behind me? I think that is a yes.
No,
Okay,
it's
so
not yes, it's a no. And not back. Why can't the microphone be put there?
Ron, if you would just tilt the lectern sort of to us, that way it might be better.
Okay.
And if you would, please open the window and cut the unit in the back of the room. That's causing
That'll
a
help.
bit of background noise.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
I think that'll be a lot better.
I have a couple of short remarks about where the town is in the Island Hills State Environmental Quality Review Act process. Again, briefly, we're about midpoint. So with that, I have some comments. Thank you, Honorable Supervisor and members of the town board. My name is Ron Meyer. I am the Town of Islip Planning Commissioner. And the Island Hills development is a significant development which has triggered a developer-prepared environmental impact statement. The secret process is a highly detailed and lengthy process which is a prerequisite to any change of zone application. The town board, at its August 9th, 2001 meeting, deemed the DIS prepared by the applicant to be complete. Now, the wording complete is not synonymous with acceptance, condone, or approve of any subsequent action or change of zone. It just means that the application is complete enough for the public to review. The town's website, as well as the involved libraries, the DIS is online to receive comments. We have a dedicated public comment address to solicit comments, which will be gathered, provided to the developer for response in the draft environmental impact statement, as well as for the town board in their future consideration of the DIS, which will be scheduled at a later date. Are there any questions from the board or from the public at this time you'd like me to entertain?
Ron, I just would like you to really put on the record, just so everyone is comfortable with the process, that any and all emails or any correspondence that's sent in, delivered, mailed, however it gets to us, is included in a binder and is included as part of the official record.
That's correct.
It's copied and will be shared with all the town board members, planning board members, whomever is opining on the application will have everyone's input. But again, that's quite a ways down the road before that's going to be happening.
Correct. We've started to assemble public comments. Again, any comments that are sent by mail, fax, or through the public hearings at islipny.gov will be put into binders, presented to the developer for possible response in the document and for the town board's consideration at a future public hearing.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any questions for Ron while he's up here? All right, thank you very much, Ron. I really appreciate that.
I'll go out to the lobby. I got Jim Brennan, our Deputy Planning Commissioner, so if there's any comments from the public, we can talk to them momentarily.
If they have any questions, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Another issue that has sort of risen to awareness, I guess, if you will, and it's one that's been ongoing for quite a while. And I know that the town board members have been so supportive of the project, and that's the dredging of Browns River. So if Commissioner Owens would come forward, I know that you've been working with the county. There were some questions on where we were with the process, and an email was sent earlier today, not as early as it could have been. I know we had some server issues today, but that email did finally get out. Yes?
Yes,
okay.
okay, correct.
So if you could just give us a
Sure.
brief synopsis.
Sure. Good afternoon, Supervisor, Town Board, and members of the public. This is basically, the Town Board did get it. It's a 3-page summary of where we're at since 2017. We're closing in on it. Everyone should know. I'm just going to go over the key points so I don't read the whole 2 pages.
Thank you.
If that's okay. Key points to note: the town has no responsibility for maintaining navigational travel channels. It falls under the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to maintain federal navigation channels. Clearing the spoils of the site is critical to all other entities that dredge for the dredge project, such as Suffolk County and also the Army Corps. The town of Islip will help, with help and guidance from Peter Scully, the Deputy County Executive, we have a working committee, and we continue to work to advance this project to a point where we can clear the spoils. And we're very close. It is our understanding that we may be receiving Suffolk grant money due to the efforts of legislator Anthony Piccarello. We have received approval from the New York State DEC to dispose of the spoil materials at a Long Island landfill and for it to be used as cover material. The benefit to that is when we started the project in 2017, we were under the impression that we would have to pay either Brookhaven or another landfill or take it out of state upwards of $70 a ton. The good news is that based on our consultant's effort, our efforts, and the county's efforts with Peter Scully, the DEC has agreed to call it cover, and with the cooperation of Marty Blue and our DEC, we're allowed to take it to our own landfill as cover, and there'll be no fee involved, but that's really good news for us. We are waiting for New York State DEC, New York State DOT, and the Army Corps to issue permit for approvals to dredge the Towns Brown River East and the Towns Brown River West. And until we get those spoils out, we're not able to get permits, but we're thinking based on our direction from our consultant that those permits are imminent, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. They don't really want to commit, but we're almost there. I know the town board's been patient. I know that, especially Mary Kate Mullen out in that area. So we do appreciate your patience, but I think we're close. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
I have a couple questions,
Sure.
Commissioner. With respect to timing of moving of the spoils, as soon as we have the permits in place, how soon after will we be able to get moving on that?
We already had a logistic meeting last Friday with Marty, with my staff at DPW, and we're going to combine all of our resources, and we anticipate a week or two after we get the permit that we'll be moving the stuff in-house with our own labor, and which is already budgeted, so there'll be no fee for that as well.
And one other question with respect to the dredging itself, the project that we've applied for, or the permit we've applied for, it's a full dredge of the river as far as our portion is concerned.
Correct.
Is that correct? Not
Correct.
an emergency dredge, a full dredge.
Yeah, that's been the plan right along, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, we appreciate
I have
it.
another question.
Certainly.
So with regards to the dredging, do you do the slips first, or you do the like main artery first?
That'll be decided on the contractor and the best way to do that dredge. And that, we'll decide the most cost-effective way to do that. I'm not sure the answer to that question.
Okay, and then my second question is, while you're here, Terry Road in Sayville, we had a grant that came in from the state. What are we doing with that? We rejected that grant?
No, we didn't reject the grant. We used a part of the grant. The only part we could use, which was $20,000, we used for paving. We can't install any more drainage there because the water table is about 12 inches from the ground. So it's not something we can effectively do. The only answer down there, I think, is a pump like we have at Sea Pumps. But any money we were able to use, we used.
So we didn't reject that grant for $20,000?
For what?
We didn't.
We used part of the grant. The rest we didn't. We're not going to apply for it because we know there's no way to use the money based on the. I think there's some misinformation out there, Councilwoman. So.
Okay, we can chat about it. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we will now move to the public portion, and really just to remind everyone, it has been a difficult year. We've had one public meeting, and hopefully we can continue, but we are constantly monitoring the positivity rates and the numbers of cases, and we'll act accordingly, and the notices that have gone out for meetings indicate that. So I would urge everyone to check the website. Trust me, we want to continue going this way as long as we can, but only if we can be safe. So again, the last meeting, for the most part, everyone was very respectful, and we're very appreciative of that. Again, it's been a tough year and a half. So I'd ask you to keep that in mind when you're coming forward. I know so many of you are very passionate about your issues, but we ask you to handle yourselves respectfully. Our first speaker is David Chan. David?
David Chan, 80 Chateau Drive, Oakdale. Evening, Town Board, Supervisor. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Idlehour community. I'm here to address the issue regarding the old Dowling College property, which is owned by Mercury International. At the last Town Board meeting, I spoke regarding the lack of maintenance and security at the property. Since that meeting, Suffolk County PD has increased patrol on the property, which we're all very thankful for. I thank the supervisor for that. As a community member, as well as a member of the Neighborhood Watch Group that patrols the property every night, I would love to say that the situation has improved. However, I am back to let you know that it's still there and the problem continues. Mercury continues to be an absentee landlord. The property continues to be essentially abandoned. Since our last meeting, we have waited for the grass to be mowed. Nothing has happened. The grass, the weeds, everything is overgrown. Again, the property is not within compliance. Since the last meeting, roadways on some of the side streets that Mercury owns the property next to have become a safety hazard where cars cannot see past the stop signs. Again, that has not been addressed. The mosquitoes, the ticks, the abandoned garbage that's been disposed of are still there and are continuing to grow. Nothing has been done. Now, this has become an environmental issue. We've discussed this. I know you spoke to some of the guys in the Neighborhood Watch regarding it. It is still there and it's growing. It has become a neighborhood dumping grounds for leaves, tree limbs, and grass clippings from all of our neighbors. And it's now decomposing and it's become a rodent and a trash hazard. The mansion is still there, the library is still there, and vandalism still continues to happen. We patrol every night. We take money out of our own pockets to secure the property. We do this for a company, a multi-million-dollar company, that has done nothing to help us. We're frustrated. Since that last meeting, the supervisor and I had a great phone conversation, but we feel nothing has happened, and Mercury has been allowed to continue to do what they're doing. I know there's rumors out there that the property might sell, but it's still a rumor, and we're still here. The Dowling property is still there, and Mercury is still an abandoned landlord.
David, I know I share the sentiment of everyone on the town board. We really understand what you're going through and feel for what you're going through. Our hands are tied to a certain degree because it is private property, and we have done anything and everything we possibly can. And I don't know if it happened before or after we spoke, but the town attorney has sent a very strongly worded letter insisting that they install security and a number of other measures in keeping their property up, considering the fact that they are in a planned preservation district. We're using every hammer we can. The addresses, I would love if you could give us the addresses of the property on those other roadways that you say the grass is high, because we can go in there and
The
again
corner
start the
of
process.
the corner of Central and Chateau,
Okay,
that's become a safety hazard.
so we will go in and start
The
that.
grass
cleanup
situation, I
process.
understand the other situations where we can't push our hands with private property. But as a town owner, a property owner, if I didn't mow my grass to the point where the grass is 2 feet high now, the grass has been mowed on that property 3 times in the last 2 years. We've had recent large rainfalls. It's starting to grow again. It becomes a safety hazard for everybody in the community.
Now, we're not arguing with you, but again, we will do what we can, and on those other houses, that corner house, we will start that board up cleanup process, and we'll go in and do what we have to do to clean it up so it is not a safety hazard. But please understand that we're here to work with you. Councilman O'Connor, who has been on this issue from the beginning, please, let's keep communicating, and we will do the best we can. And hopefully, it's more than a rumor from what I've heard, that property will be sold. All right, thank you.
We have also started the board up process for portions of the mansion. But given the timeframes that we have to comply with, if the situation doesn't correct itself, it would be on for the next town board meeting in October.
And I'll be here again. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next speaker, John Rodone.
Good evening, Supervisor Carpenter, Town Board. I'm here today just to make some comments regarding Island Hills. Regular Equity Partner has at every step of this
Sir,
project.
can we just get your name and address for the record,
John
please?
Doan, 20 East Hill Road, Sable.
Thank you.
Can I get the mask down?
Yeah, that'd be better.
Regular Equity Partner has at every step of this process failed to listen to the community or address any of the community concerns regarding Island Hills. Although they may have had a couple of meetings with us, our concerns we ignored or completely dismissed. Little has changed in their proposal to the town. I know they put up like 4 or 5 proposals and we only presented one so far. I am a 30-year plus resident of the town of Iceland. I chose to make my investment in Sable and I have invested 30 years plus of my life to live here. I pay property taxes to the town of Iceland with an expectation of being supported and having my views and concerns adequately represented to the town of Iceland. This is our town, this is our community, this is our town council. It's not reckless. The voice of concerns of the residents of Sable and Oakdale, the lifeblood of our community. We pay our taxes, our children attend our schools, churches, and play in our fields, and they do so much more. The draft DEIS study appears to be completed. Soon the next step of this process will be completed and close to decision. My ask is simple, and I'm pretty sure it's shared by a large member of these communities as well as my friends and family. Let's do what's right. Do not approve this enormous project and have Recla put forth a proposal that would be more in line with the community residents that pay our taxes. And I thank you for all your hard work and dedication to us. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, Susan Pellegrino.
Susan Pellegrino, 85 Deer Path Road, speaking on behalf of the Central Islip Coalition of Good Neighbors. Supervisor Carpenter, good evening.
Susan, if you could just try to speak up a little,
Oh, a
please.
little bit louder? Okay.
Thank
okay.
you.
Good evening, Supervisor and Town Board members. I'm here to express opposition to certain aspects of the Vesta project, which is slated for Carlton Avenue, the corridor that we are trying to maintain the setbacks and the historical and aesthetic value of that. The proposal, what we are opposing is not everything. The senior housing, the veterans housing to date is okay. It's the gas station, car wash, bowl market, and PDQ fast food restaurant that we really oppose. This will really just turn this beautiful corridor into a strip mall. And currently, Central Islip has 26 gas stations, so there's ample opportunity for people to gas up. The other thing that's disturbing is the developer is apparently having volunteers go throughout the community and deceptively giving them the idea that they are signing a petition for the housing and the veterans and the senior housing, but they're omitting the gas station, the other aspects of it. So it's very deceptive of the developer. This developer has a history of broken promises in Central Islip. They were supposed to provide $2 million for rehabbing houses in the Lowell Avenue development. That hasn't happened. So we hope the town board will consider this, and we thank you for continuing to being our partner in maintaining this corridor. So thank you. I'm
Thank
so
you, Susan.
sorry. Can I just get the address of that corridor? I'm sorry. It's Carlton Avenue and what? Oh, I don't know the address. I don't know the.
Across from the Bellevue Eastview project. It's a New York Tech property on the west side.
Thank you.
Next speaker, John Buchler.
Evening. Town board. The best town board in the whole darn United States of America.
Do you want to repeat that, please?
You know,
I'm
when I
only
moved
joking.
out here 40 years ago, I did some reconnaissance and I was advised by the DOT this was the only safe place to go this year.
Sir, can we get your name and address, please?
It's obvious the participation of everyone here today and the openness of our discussions. I was misinformed. I thought the vote on the Island Hills thing was going to be tonight, so I had some remarks on that. So I won't bother you with too much, take too much of your time. I am completely opposed to the project. I believe we should try to keep and enhance what we already have. We can use this beautiful land for 1 acreage zoning And there is a great need for single-family housing on Long Island. That's why the prices are going up. And these real estate, well, I don't know, giants, I guess you call them, they have tremendous amount of money, and they're buying up golf courses and then inflicting Co-op City. They're bringing Co-op City to Long Island, and we don't need Co-op City on Long Island. We need to keep it the way it is. I have 3/10 of an acre of my house, which I bought back in '78. I hear crickets and birds, and I'm very, very thrilled to be part of this community. I advise you to not go ahead and do this. Many of you here won't be here in 20 years. I'm 85, I won't be here in 5 years. I'll be in the Formosa Straits or I'll be in Calverton, either one of the two. But what you do in this regard will set up a road for the future of Long Island. I beg of you, fight hard, use that very precious property, which these very big real estate magnates who are very rich and powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if that golf course was doing very well, but an offer was made that couldn't be refused. Please preserve our beautiful community. 1 acreage zoning, Water Authority says that will be safe, and your legacy will be safe. God bless you, and thank you for allowing me to speak to you today.
Sir, can we get your name and address, please?
John W. Buehler, 20 Minna Road, Oakdale, New York,
Thank you.
11769.
Thank you very much, John. We appreciate you coming down.
And thank all of you for the service you've given God, country, and the greatest tower of government on the face of the earth. And
God bless you,
that's
John. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next speaker, Debbie Kavanaugh.
Debbie Kavanaugh, 21 Walnut Street, Central Iceland, New York, President of Central Iceland Coalition. Over, I'm going to give you letters from residents of Central Iceland opposing the Vesta project, especially the gas station portion of it and the PDQ. Again, I want to reiterate what Susan said. They are going around knocking on doors, lying to the community, and omitting that the whole project is, we need 1,000 signatures for veterans and senior housing is what everybody's being told by the lobbyists going through Central Iceland. They've been going through since the beginning of August trying to get signatures. They're going back to houses 2 or 3 times, trying to get additional signatures. So much so that I will tell you the Foxgate development called the police on the lobbyists, which is Mike's development. And the community is extremely upset with what's going on. I also encourage you guys, if you want to monitor, go on Nextdoor, which is the community chat line, and you will see all the comments going on by residents complaining about the project and what's going on, and the deceit that they're not being told honestly what the whole development project is about. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Next speaker, Andy Cross.
And once again, I'm here about the NYS real property tax line.
Your name and address for the record, sir, please.
Andy Cross, Bayshore, New York. And once again, I'm here about the NYS real property tax line on my tax bill from the town. How could this tax go up 41% when it's supposed to be tied to the price increases or decreases of the price of real estate? With the latest estimates being up by 17%, how much will this tax go down? In your political flyer sent out to residents, you said to hold the line on taxes. Was this a lie? Just to get votes? And should we call for a recall election to elect someone closer to the truth? When you took over, you blamed the tax increases on previous administrations. As you have been the last couple of administrations, the blame for the increases of taxes, like 41% and 51%, can only be blamed on this administration. When are you going to reduce taxes for the taxpayers of Islip Town? So, like you gave a reply to the guy from Oakdale, I wait your reply.
I've written down the address, and I'll have DPW check the condition of
I
the
already
roadway.
talked to him. I
Okay.
already talked to him.
All
He
right.
says, I got the foil to see how many times the roads in West Islip were done, and why hasn't ours been done. I think it was 3 times the roads were done, but I'm only saying 2, across Bay Shore Road. Now, this year they did like 2 blocks, maybe 3 blocks in my neighborhood, and they stopped. Across the road in West Islip, they did the whole neighborhood. Another place in West Islip, on West 1st to West 5th Street, they did the whole neighborhood. Mine, they're doing piecemeal. They're doing 1 or 2 blocks a year. That hasn't been done in 25 years. So what's the deal? No reply?
Thank you, Mr. Cross.
I await your response. Maybe you could give me some kind of response that now there's nobody here. Unbelievable.
Mr. Cross, it's not an answer and a question situation. You state your situation.
What,
We have-
what'd you do to that guy from Oakdale?
Hang on one
You
second.
gave him an extra
No,
5
no, no,
minutes.
No. She runs this meeting, but
Well,
I'm
she
gonna
gave him
tell
an
you
extra
right
5
now.
minutes then.
No, I'm telling you right now, we have somebody who sits here, writes down your complaints, and will absolutely answer you tomorrow, okay? We're not doing
How?
this to her.
How are
We're
you
not
gonna
doing
answer me
question
tomorrow? You gonna
answer.
call
We're
me?
not doing this. Thank you.
How are you gonna answer me tomorrow? You gonna call me?
Yeah, I will call you personally tomorrow.
Okay.
See Tracy right there with the red hair and the mask on? Give her your phone number. Angie's office
It's
or
on
my
the thing,
office
right
will
in
call
front
you
of you.
tomorrow.
We can call you.
Okay? Enough now.
It's unbelievable.
No, it's
And-
not unbelievable. Just
and-
give her your phone number.
Thank you.
No, I'm
And-
done now. He's here every week, Angie, and I'm tired of it.
And I'm tired of
You beat up
not
on
getting
her.
an
No, you
answer.
beat up on Angie every single time you come here. Give us your phone number. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the Sable thing?
No, I'm done now. I'm done now.
Be done.
Thank you, Mrs. Tate.
And why do we have to have masks
I'm
on?
done
And all
now.
the youth up there don't have a mask on.
Next speaker, John Tate.
Hello, John Cave, 91 Island Boulevard, Sable, New York. Today I'm here to present to the town board the supermajority of the surrounding area for the Island Hills Golf Course. Over the past 4 years, our group has put together a petition of over 115 signatures of residents within 100 feet of the Island Hills property, much above the 39 or 20% required for a supermajority. We kindly ask that you accept the supermajority as the residents' outcry for the no zone change of Island Hills. So, I'm not too sure, can I give it to the court officer?
Yeah, hand it to the court officer and the
Thank you.
ranger, and he'll hand it to the clerk. Thank you very much.
I would also like to say, thank you for trying to do outside the TV and the stuff. Unfortunately, I think just because of the room, it didn't work very well. But I did get to speak with the town attorney, and that was very nice that we tried to do something. But I would ask we either have an open Zoom session where we can have a question and answer to either alleviate more people here, or do it at Town Hall West where it's a little bigger. And with that, still, please know that we are still full-fledged against the zone change of Island Hills and are very concerned about this project. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John. Next speaker, Greg Pepe.
Greg Pepe, Islip, New York. I'm here tonight to rebuttal an article that was published today by the Suffolk News when it's concerning the billing practice that was allowed by this town board, by the exchange ambulance of the Islips, to be billing the people, whether it be billing through insurance or co-payments that are due at the time of service. Now, on the statement of taxes for my 2021 year, I brought with me tonight, under the taxing district, there's the exchange ambulance of the Islips, and that district I pay an X amount of money directly to. Now, that's a fluctuating amount. As far as their funding goes in budgeting, it would increase or decrease depending. Now, my mom needed an ambulance at the house back in April, and she's billed through Medicare. They charged $969, $900 for the service, ambulance service, and then $69 for mileage, which is 2.3 miles at a cost of $30 per mile, okay? Now, 20% of that bill my mother owes, which is close to $100, all right? This is affecting seniors. It's affecting, technically it's illegal, because I'll tell you why. When we called 911, it went dispatched to the fire department. Their ambulance was on call. They dispatched that 911 call over to the exchange ambulance. They worked together, jointly, okay, to respond to 911 calls. So if you call and the fire department responds, you're not billed, you get a free ride. But yet, if you call, they dispatch the exchange ambulance, they're billing. How is this fair when we're paying for this, a levy tax, to have this service for the residents? Okay? Now, how is it saving money? Mr. Ludwig has said, oh, in 4 years it's going to save us a lot of money, but we won't even have this tax line anymore. Well, that's triple billing right now the way it stands, because we're paying taxes for the service like we do for fire, garbage, and the rest that's here. Then we're being billed through the insurance company. You're billing the insurance, then in respect, the insurance bills us for the balance. What's that going to do to insurance premiums? They're going to skyrocket, right? So how is it saving money in the long run? Furthermore, these are being called soft bills. We're supposed to get 3 bills and then you can just disregard them. My mom's up to 4 already. From the exchange ambulance located at 8610 Main Street, Williamsville, New York. I thought they're located right here in East Islip at 190. So is this a Ponzi scheme? I mean, what's going on here with the addresses where these people are billing? You call the exchange ambulance, disregard them, these soft bills. A soft bill, if you look it up, relates to a bird's beak. It's totally illegal practice to do.
Thank you, Mr. Pepe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we
Next
did discuss
speaker,
this, Angie.
Pat Montanino.
I don't know why we don't have a microphone. You had it last week for the Going Purple, and you had over 7 people talk while your assistant wiped the microphone with the Lysol, but I guess the residents don't count. But a letter and proof was
Name and
sent
address
to
for the record, please.
Pat Montanino, East Islip.
Thank you.
A letter and proof was sent to each of the town board as a public park ranger blew through a stop sign which could have killed me. Not only was it him, but 2 other town vehicles did the same thing. This road is on an elementary school, joggers, children riding their bikes, and residents wheeling baby carriages. But as per my conversation, which I had to make the call because not one of you on the town board would respond. But I was told that the person, the public safety ranger that went through the stop sign, I have to ignore that because he really didn't know it was there. Come on, really? You didn't know the stop sign was there? You went through it to go open the park. You had to come back. So that means you blew through 3 stop signs. The corner property where the stop sign is a motorist nightmare. And the corner falls under the town code motorist obstruction view, a sight triangle. And the town, as per the town board, I was told by Ms. Carpenter, there's no problem, we see no problem. And Mr. Owens' office said you could see the stop sign, but you see the stop sign through the bushes. You're not allowed to have bushes 8 feet high on a corner property so that you see nothing that comes from the east going west. But there's no problem. Anybody else, it's a problem. The people across the street from him, the town went to him and made him move his whole fence back because it was an obstruction view. But this guy on the corner here, nobody cares. Somebody's going to have to be killed first before it matters. Then as for the animal shelter, in May of 2017, it was voted down a $5.5 million bond. It was then voted again in May of 2017, where it was approved for a $4.1 million bond for a 20,000 square foot animal shelter, 4.6 million. Now all of a sudden it's become 9.1 million. Where'd the $4 million come from?
Time is up.
Okay,
Thank you.
time's up, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Kevin Shapiro.
Good evening, I'm Kevin Shapiro, 851 Smithtown Avenue in Bohemia. I just wanted to thank you for giving us the time and attention to speak. Tonight I'm here speaking in continued opposition to the project at Island Hills. I know, time has passed and, with the COVID, everything's been thrown off a little bit, but, I'm essentially here just to remind you that, myself and all of the residents around, remain united in our opposition to this project, really for all of the reasons that have been, brought up at previous meetings. The impact of the traffic, the pressure on the resources, the sheer density of the proposal, and, ultimately really, our quality of life as a whole. Again, I know that the meetings weren't as regular and some of them were on Zoom and things like that, but I just wanted to, make a point to remind you that, we remain united in opposition. I'm fearful that it's going to be a big impact on the quality of life, more so for my children and my neighbors than myself. And I think it's just important that, I feel like I try to speak for a lot of people I know, neighbors and friends who are maybe a little bit shy about speaking or, can't always come down here. And, I think I've mentioned before that, one of the things about being in public service, which I appreciate you all doing, is the idea that a lot of the decisions that get made, long after, people aren't in office anymore, these decisions remain in the communities and in the towns in which they're made. And again, I would just like to ask that, you give that great consideration. I mean, this is your legacy as well as ours, and, I would appreciate, no change in zone. If it was my preference, I would just as soon keep the golf course a wide open green space. Realistically, I understand that that's just pie in the sky. And I think the only way to really, to mitigate, this monstrosity of a project would be to simply continue with the zoning. The developer will build their 80 or 100 houses, at least to me that fits, the character of the Sayville and West Sayville neighborhoods and my own neighborhood, which is just outside of that. And I would just like to say, we would appreciate that kind of train of thought, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Kevin. That concludes the speakers. Can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? The public portion is closed. We will move now to the agenda. item, the first item on the agenda is the meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. We have a motion to convene.
Motion to convene.
Motion by Councilwoman Bergen, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed? We are convened, the quorum being present. Mr. Walzer.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the agency board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Iceland, New York. I have several items for your consideration today. The first to consider is the approval of the minutes from the agency board meeting on August 10th.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, Mullen, rather, second by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor, opposed? It is approved.
Sorry, I'm sorry for the correction, but it's O'Connor, it's Cochran is doing the second. So it's,
So you said-
no, it's Mary Kay for the first and Johnny for the second, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item to consider is an inducement resolution consenting to the sale of the Court Plaza Senior Facility located at 1 Hoppin Drive in Central Iceland.
Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
The next item for your consideration is also an inducement resolution for Venture One Development. This project involves the construction of a 122,000 square foot industrial building located on 10 acres of land at 2950 Vets Highway, Bohemian. It represents a $24.5 million capital investment.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Okay, the next item for your consideration is a resolution consenting to the sale of the facility at 5 Inez Drive in Bayshore.
Are there any questions on this? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Okay, the next item for your consideration is a resolution consenting to mortgage financing at 46 Windsor Place, Central Iceland.
Again, any questions?
No.
Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Okay, the next item is a resolution consenting to mortgage financing and a restructuring of ownership at 500 Prime Place in Hobhog.
Are there any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
The next item for your consideration is a resolution consenting to mortgage financing and a restructuring of ownership at 555 Prime Place in Hobhog.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
The next item is a resolution consenting to an increase in mortgage financing at the Gullhaven Commons facility at Carlton Avenue and Sunburst Boulevard in Central Iceland.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed?
And the last item for your consideration is a resolution authorizing the release of an 8,000 square foot portion of the Bayshore Senior Residence Facility for a not-for-profit community center located on Park Avenue in Bayshore.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
That's all I have to do.
No other items to come before us. A motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
by
Second.
Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, the town board authorization to clean up or secure certain properties in the town of Iceland.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board, Town Clerk, Taryn Jewell, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Iceland. Number 1, to clean up the premises located at 31 Brightside Avenue, Central Islip. On this property, there now exists high grass and overgrown vegetation, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons for the property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilman Mullin, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 2, to clean up the premises located at 45 Fork Street, Oakdale. On this property, there now exists high grass and overgrown vegetation, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullin. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 3, to demolish the premises located at 84 St. Peter's Drive, Brentwood. On this vacant and unsecure property, there now exists an unsafe primary structure, which is in immediate danger of collapse due to structural failure, disrepair, and neglect. The structure has been determined to be in imminent danger of collapse by our senior building inspector. The structure constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran. I'll make that second. All those in favor?
Aye.
It is approved.
Number 4, to board and clean up the premises located at 119 Noble Street, Brentwood. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
I'll second that.
By Councilman Mullin. All those in favor? It is approved.
Number 5, to clean up the premises located at 120 Central Boulevard, Oakdale. On this property, there now exists high grass and overgrown vegetation, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises. This is the last Dowling property that we had tabled the last few months. I spoke to the fire marshal. All the properties are now in need of a cleanup again, so they're all going to be sent back out. And then, as town attorney provided earlier, we started a board up process for one of the properties.
Terrific. Thank
I'm
you so
sorry,
much.
Taryn, I know there's no motion on the floor, sorry, I had to call for a motion. Then I
Are
have a
there any
question.
questions on the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Taryn, can you just slowly explain all of this? Because we've got people watching from home. All right, where are we at right now with Dallin?
So this is the 4th property and the last that needed to be passed for resolution.
Right.
After tonight, all 4 will have a cleanup resolution passed that we can send out our DPW approves to clean it up. Now, next meeting, we have on a board up for the mansion. I believe we're boarding up one certain section that's been getting broken into by, they think, teens. So that's where we're going to start there for the board up procedure.
Okay.
That's in October, but all have cleanup resolutions now after tonight if this is passed.
Right.
Because of the required notice, we couldn't do it at this town board meeting. We have to wait until next town board meeting.
Okay, all right, I just wanted it out there on the universe, thank you.
And these we were able to do because we left it open.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, terrific.
Thank you.
Okay, should make a lot of people happy.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilwoman
Second.
Bergen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Number 6 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 7, to board up the premises located at 263 Blue Point Road West, Holtzville. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsecured structure due to a fire at the property, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises. And again, I just spoke to the fire marshal. They are going to start a demo procedure on this property. They just wanted to get it boarded so it was secured during that process.
Thank you. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullin. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 8 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 9, to clean up the premises located at 778 Montauk Highway, West Islip. On this property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullin. I'll make that second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Number 10, to board up the premises located at 851 West Bay Drive, West Islip. On this vacant or unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was read out to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
I'll second that
by
motion.
Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 11, to clean up the premises located at 885 Manor Lane, Bayshore. On this property, there now exists high grass and overgrown vegetation, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And finally, number 12, to clean up the premises located at 1522 North Gardner Drive, Bayshore. On this property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sharon. And good work on Dowling. I know it's
Thank you.
taken a lot. Okay, we go to item 3, meeting of the Town of Iceland Resource Recovery Agency. I'll call for motion to convene
Motion.
by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Bergen. For those in favor, opposed, we are convened. Quorum being present. Marty, thanks for being here.
Madam Chair, members of the agency board, Martin Ballou, President of the Islip Resource Recovery Agency, 401 Main Street, Islip, New York. I have a couple items for consideration tonight. First one is the approval of the minutes for the August 10th, 2021 agency board.
Your motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
The last item is a resolution authorizing the president to enter into a contract amendment for a contract between the agency and Lockwood, Kessler, and Bartlett, Inc., LKB, to provide professional engineering design services related to the expansion of the Blydenburg landfill.
Any questions? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, approved.
And that concludes the business of the
Thank you,
agency.
Marty. We will
Make a
now,
motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry, thank you. Motion to adjourn by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Item 4, the appropriation transfers. Are there any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next item are the bid awards. Any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next item are the option year resolutions. Any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next item is an approval to adopt the Town of Islip's updated emergency response plan for 2021. Any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 8, authorization for the supervisor to enter into a renewal agreement with Intelitech Security Services for the monitoring, maintenance, and installation of alarms. Any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 9, Town Board ratification and approval of the white-collar collective bargaining agreement between the town and UPSI and authorization for the supervisor to execute the agreement on behalf of the town. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second
Second.
by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved unanimously, and thank you to everyone who worked on this. Item 10 is the ratification and approval of the blue collar collective bargaining agreement with UPSI and an authorization for the supervisor to execute such agreement on behalf of the town.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Again, thank you to everyone. Item 11, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider amending the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 12 is an approval of the amended list of eligible participants submitted by the Community Ambulance Company for participation in the 2020 Service Awards Program known as LoSAP. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullin, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Recuse.
We have 4 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion is approved. That takes us to item 13, special events. There are a couple of parades and a festival. I would just urge everyone to check their local sponsors or websites on any of these events. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Next, item 14 is an authorization for the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to award contract for ARFF apparatus preventive maintenance and emergency repair services at Long Island LaGuardia Airport to Firematic Supply Company. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 15, authorization for the supervisor to execute an airport concessions disadvantaged business enterprise plan in compliance with FAA regulations. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 15, authorization for the supervisor to execute an ABCDE plan to be submitted to the FAA in compliance with 49 CFR Part 23, participation of disadvantaged business enterprise in airport concessions. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 16, authorization for the supervisor to execute.
We missed,
I'm sorry.
We did
Yeah.
16, we just did 16 twice, or 15 twice. Yes.
They're very similar.
We did 14 was ARC and 15 was ABCDE.
ABCDE, that was
That's the
Mullen.
O'Connor was 15, right? And then
Right.
16 is the consulting agreement with John
Well,
Motor.
that's what I'm up to now.
Okay,
So you said I did something twice?
I think we did.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just- As long as number 15, the motions are Councilwoman Mullen, Councilman O'Connor, and now we're on 16.
Right.
We're all good.
Thank you.
What? You didn't make the motion?
Okay. Item 16,
Motion.
authorization.
You've been quiet all night,
Yeah, I noticed that.
all of a sudden.
Authorization, he just woke up. Authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with John Giamatti Consulting LLC to assist in the development of a comprehensive North Terminal alternative that will better balance aviation operational maintenance and commercial development needs. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 17, authorization for the supervisor to execute generated certification pertaining to the waste material profile sheets for Clean Harbors to transport and dispose of hazardous waste material to their facility located in El Dorado, Arkansas, as well as to transport personal protective equipment at a regular landfill. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 18, authorization for the supervisor to enter into an operating agreement to permit Lyft, Inc. and Uber a non-exclusive right to use common-use airport roadways for ingress and egress to and from the airport and to conduct its permitted operations at designated pickup and drop-off locations at the airport. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 19, authorization for the supervisor to apply for and accept funding from the Suffolk County Office for the Aging or reimbursement of elderly transportation service costs. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
By Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen, all those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Authorization of the supervisor to enter into various agreements for programs or events to be held throughout the town to be funded either by registration or grant funds. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
By Councilwoman Mullen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran, all those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 21, authorization for the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Backflow Specialists Inc. to perform RPZ testing on Suffolk County Water Authority's pipes located in all Town of Islip facilities. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
By Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman O'Connor, all those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 22, authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with the CDA for Community Development Block Grant Reimbursement Funds for the purchase of several items for the Central Islip Senior Center. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 23, town board approval of the rates for the rental of machinery or equipment for snow and ice removal for the 2021-2022 season. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 24, authorization for the supervisor to sign any and all documents required to procure payment processing services through OGS centralized contract number PS 68916 with WordPay LLC. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second
I'll second that.
by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 25, authorization for the supervisor to execute a one-year contract renewal and amendment of the professional services agreement with Lyro Engineers, Inc. for the site plan review for commercial development within the town of Islip. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen, all those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 26, meeting of the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Board. Motion to convene, second on that motion.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran, all those in favor? Opposed? We are convened, the quorum being present. Mr. Hemingway, good to see you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Foreign Trade Zone Board. My name is Brad Hemingway. I'm the Executive Director for the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority, and we're located at 1 Trade Zone Drive in Ronkonkoma. For tonight, I have 3 items for your consideration. First item being approval of the minutes from our May 18th, 2021 meeting of the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Board.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen, Bergen, I apologize. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Second item is authorization to extend the 12 land leases between the Town of Islip and the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority up to and including August 31st, 2061.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen, all those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Lastly, authorization for the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority to enter into a sublease with NSB Management, LLC, for Foreign Trade Zone Parcel Number 10, located at 101 Roebling Court, Ronkonkoma, New York.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Mullen, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. And
No further items.
no further
Motion
business
to
to before us. Motion to adjourn by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran, all those in favor, opposed, please stand adjourned. Thank you. Item 27, authorization for the supervisor to execute an amendment extending the land leases between the Town of Islip and the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority from August 30th, 2060 to August 31st, 2061. All those, motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 28, acceptance of donation by deed from Michael and Roseanne Wesley for property at Zero Bay Walk, Bear Harbor, and an authorization for the supervisor to execute any and all documentation required. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen, all those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 30, Authorization for the supervisor to execute any and all documents in order to effectuate the assumption of an existing note and mortgage held by the town in connection with 25 Cortlandt Place in Bay Shore. Any questions? Hearing none, motion. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved.
Supervisor, did we do number 29?
No, we did not. Thank you very much. So did we call the vote on 30?
Yes, we did.
Okay, all those in favor?
O'Connor, Mullen.
Okay, 29. Authorization for the supervisor to apply for and accept funding from National Grid to compensate the Department of Public Works for the paving and restoration of various roads in the town of Iceland. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Thank you.
Item 31, authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with Land, Durham, and Brown Inc. to assist in the development of a comprehensive north terminal alternative that will better balance aviation operational, maintenance, and commercial development needs. Any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 32, Town Board appointment of Michael Montiglio as a member of the Town of Islip Planning Board. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen,
Second.
second by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. And I do believe that is all of the items to come before us this evening. And a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is adjourned. Thank you very much.